Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
Working lubricant of power steering, like any other lubricant, over time comes into disrepair. Let's consider the resource of the technical fluid, and also tell in detail how to change the oil in the power steering and how much. To pour lubricant for the correct operation of the system. Resource. Some manufacturers of power steering systems claim that the oil in their systems is filled for the entire life of the system, so replacement due to aging and loss of properties is not necessary. It is necessary to change the oil only in case of technical work affecting the hydraulic power steering system. Of course, if the level goes out, it is worth to refill only the liquid recommended by the manufacturer. We want to assure you that if you care about the good condition of your car, replacement of hydraulic power steering fluid is a mandatory part of maintenance. It is recommended to change the oil every 100,000 kilometers or 4 to 5 years of operation. If you do not know how often and when the oil was last changed, you should focus on the condition of the fluid. Dark color, dirt, impurities, burning smell are obvious reasons to replace the lubricant. Some power steering reservoirs have a filter screen. Dirty fluid can clog the pores, which impairs the flow capacity, making it difficult for the fluid to circulate throughout the system. This can be felt in the form of increased noise from the steering pump, and more force is required to turn the steering wheel. If you do not have such materials on hand, you can be guided by the amount of fluid that can be drained. Usually the replacement of power steering fluid of a passenger car requires no more than 1 liter of oil. How much lubricant will be required also depends on the method of replacement. Checking the amount. The level of the power steering fluid can be checked in 2 ways. Another type of design assumes the presence of a dipstick, which is also the tank lid. Check the level will help to check the same molding. On certain models, there may be only one line that sets the minimum allowable amount of liquid on cold. Method of partial replacement. The first method of replacement with your own hands is the simplest, but at the same time more costly. In terms of the financial component, to change the oil, you will need double volume of filling fluid, syringe with a hose, the length of which will reach the bottom of the power steering reservoir, container for draining the waste. You can change the power steering fluid in the following way. This method is the most favorable, because it allows you to flush the entire system well. But it requires more lubricants and time. A simplified method of partial replacement involves mixing the old and new oil by turning the steering wheel. The car is standing still. To do this, after pouring new oil, turn the steering wheel to the left as far as it will go. Stay in this position for 2 to 3 seconds. Then turn the wheels in the opposite direction after a similar pause. The number of repetitions for each case is individual. To make life easier for the pump, hang out the front axle of the car. This method is more acceptable if you need to change the lubricant on the car, where access to the rods of supply and return fluid is difficult. A bit of theory. It is impossible to correctly change hydraulic steering oil using the method described below, without having knowledge of the basic structure of the hydraulic power steering system. Such in our case will be knowledge that from the reservoir the fluid is taken into the pump for pumping to the rack, steering gearbox. After performing useful work, the lubricant returns through the return line to the reservoir. Tools and materials. Replacement with your own hands is impossible without the following set of tools: pliers, plug for the hole in the tank for the return hose, container for draining the old fluid, syringe and hose, jack and supports for safe hanging the front axle. It will be easier to change the GSD oil if you invite a helper. Using an air compressor will help to expel more of the old fluid from the system. Change in one fell swoop. How to change power steering oil correctly. Drain all the fluid from the reservoir using a syringe and hose. Remove the reservoir and flush it well. Lower the return line hose into the reservoir. Position it so that the old fluid does not spill out during the draining process. Suspend the front axle of the vehicle. Turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, then to the opposite side. Repeat the procedure until no more old grease flows from the return hose. For even better results, pull the gas pump fuse or remove the ignition coils, and then crank the engine with the starter for no more than 10 seconds. Repeat the procedure several times at short intervals. Do not start the engine, as operation without lubrication can adversely affect the rubbing elements of the pump. If a compressor is available, briefly apply compressed air to the lubrication hose. This will help to get rid of the old fluid as much as possible. Be careful as the pressure may cause the fluid to splash. Install the reservoir and connect the hoses. Now you need to top up the new fluid, leave the cap open. Ask a helper or turn the steering wheel all the way to the left and right. At first, it doesn't matter how much fluid you pour in, as it will take time to fill the system. If you want to change the power steering fluid properly, don't let the reservoir get empty. This will cause the system to become stranded. In conclusion, properly replacing your power steering oil is essential for maintaining the efficiency and longevity of your vehicle's steering system. Remember to always consult your owner's manual for the specific type of fluid required and follow the recommended intervals for replacement. By ensuring a clean and correct replacement process, you can enhance steering performance and prevent potential issues down the road. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.